I'm reacting to your wrestling hot takes. Again, no, this is not a mistake. This is indeed a back-to-back hot takes video, and this is not something that's ever gonna happen again. You can say that this is once in a lifetime. I hear voices in the air. Because I ended up asking for your hot takes in a YouTube community post, and that got like 1,000 hot takes. But then also at the same time, I asked for your hot takes on Twitter, and that got like 1,000 hot takes. So there were just so many hot takes this weekend that I decided to give you 2 videos. But again, this is never gonna happen again, so enjoy. So if you want to be part of next week's only hot takes video, make sure that you're following me on X. Next week, it'll be an X exclusive hot takes video. I'm gonna ask for your hot takes on Thursday. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications if you're a wrestling fan. I know you're gonna fall in love with this YouTube channel because we upload daily wrestling content. I know some of you are probably thinking that I'm like running out of ideas, but no, I promise you, this is never gonna happen again. All right, let's read more stupid shit. Not to disappoint, but CM Punk will not return to the WWE. See, I've mentally prepared for CM Punk not returning to the WWE, and I think that's the trick. The trick is to expect nothing so that when you get nothing, you're not disappointed, but if you get something, you get to be super happy and super jazzed about it. But I see a world where CM Punk does come back to the WWE. I think it's gonna end up making financial sense. I think the WWE is gonna be capable of squeezing CM Punk for every ounce of worth that he's got left, and I think CM Punk can do the very same thing to the WWE in return. I think it could be a mutually beneficial situation for both of them, but I am expecting nothing. If I expect nothing, I cannot be hurt emotionally. Asuka, Kairi, and Io could be the best female faction in the world if booked right. This faction should ultimately break apart and the 3 facing each other at WrestleMania for the WWE Women's Championship. Look, I'm gonna simplify this. I think that the current iteration of Damage Control, which has Asuka, Kairi, and Io already, but then you tack on Dakota Kai and Bayley, that can be the greatest female women's wrestling faction of all time. It's there on paper. Like, in terms of who's in that faction, it doesn't get better than that. Let's make that work before we start talking about a future Asuka, Kairi, Io connection, although I do think that it's inevitably gonna go there, but we have just too much good right there in front of us right now with the current iteration of Damage Control to start thinking about what's next. Let's make Damage Control work first. The Kabuki Warriors are the only team that ever made the women's tag team titles feel relevant. I disagree. The Kabuki Warriors are absolutely one of the best women's tag teams of all time in the WWE. Granted, the bar is very, very low, but when those titles were initially minted, I would say that there were a couple of other really relevant teams. Of course, Sasha and Bayley is one of those that's going to go down in the annals of women's tag team history, as well as the Iconics. I think that's like kind of the trifecta of women's tag team wrestling right there. So we got to give some big props also to Bayley and Sasha Banks, as well as the Iconics. Solo completely destroying John Cena was a really good decision, and he could really become a top star in the next couple of years. What I'm realizing is that him destroying Cena, I don't think elevated him to the way that the WWE was expecting that major destruction of Cena would elevate somebody like a Solo Sikoa. I think that he still needs a heck of a lot more work. I think that they need to book him right, because just the dismantling of Cena right now just doesn't cut it as some star-making opportunity. Look at Theory. He beat Cena on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. Sure, it wasn't like this annihilation of a beatdown, but it was WrestleMania, and he still didn't do anything with it. So it's very possible that they could still fumble Solo Sikoa, and that would be a damn shame that they would allow him to destroy Cena and then let him fumble. They cannot let Solo Sikoa go by the wayside. They need to still book him strong in order to take advantage of what he did to John Cena, because just the annihilation of Cena isn't going to cut it as the way that we're going to buy into Solo Sikoa as a main eventer. Cody Rhodes is extremely overrated. Average on the mic, average in the ring, the 3rd best Rhodes in the Rhodes family behind Dusty and Dustin, mid-carder at best. Damn! Okay, maybe like 10 years ago, I might have agreed with this, but come on, Cody Rhodes has absolutely elevated his game to main event status. He reinvented himself in the indies. He started an entire different wrestling promotion to compete with the WWE. Come on, he is a great of this sport. He's not necessarily a GOAT. I don't think he's ever going to be in the GOAT conversation, but he's a top tier talent in today's wrestling. The horniest show in wrestling, NXT, will fit right in on the CW. So some of you already know that NXT has gone over to the CW network from the USA network. And this is going to be huge for NXT because you're going to get way more eyeballs on the CW. I didn't pick this comment because of this. I just want to know what the fuck the horniest show in wrestling is. Is that like a zillennial term that I don't understand? Like, are you guys the horniest fans of Santi Zap? The ones that watch this? Are you guys my horniest viewers? Am I using this language correctly? Like, should I go around being like, I'm the horniest wrestling content creator that there is? Hey, go check out patreon.com/SantiZap if you want even more wrestling content. Over there, for a couple of extra bucks, you're going to be getting all of my Friday Night SmackDown reviews, my Raw reviews, the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days early, and the wrestling Q&A. So go check it out, patreon.com/SantiZap. There's already over 120 of you that are supporting over there. So thank you to all of the patrons who are helping keep the lights on and helping keep this mic on. All right, back to the video. I hate it when people say that Roman defending the title not too often is good for the title because it adds, quote, prestige to the title. In my opinion, longer title reigns with much more title defenses make a really good title reign. Just look at CM Punk's title reign from 2011 to 2013. Yeah, CM Punk's title reign from 2011 to 2013 is one of my favorite title reigns of all time, precisely because of the reason that you're listing here, just how often he defended the darn thing. I think it was like something like 89 title defenses between that span of time, which is absolutely bananas. But I think this is a bit of a double-edged sword. Sure, like I get him not defending the title does inherently add to the prestige and to the allure of the title. The problem for me, I'm okay with him not defending it as often. My problem is him being off TV and not being part of the wrestling conversation and not being part of the wrestling zeitgeist. That to me is the inherent problem, that he just disappears. Look at somebody like Logan Paul. He disappears from WWE TV, but he is still talking about the WWE on his podcast. He's making videos with the United States Championship belt. He is in the conversation. He doesn't disappear like Roman Reigns does. It's the disappearing that bothers me. I think that WWE is more like WWE Heel these days. Baby faces are just not it anymore. When I mean by not it, I mean that babyface prestige of titles and everything like that is non-existent. Evil is winning this fall and this year. Holy shit, who are you? George R.R. Martin? That's so dramatic. Evil is winning. It's winning this year and this fall. Yeah, you're kind of right, but that's because Triple H, I've learned, I don't think knows how to book very good baby faces, because all of the best booking that has happened over the last year and a half has been for the heels. And I know I keep hitting it on the head. Seth Rollins' reign is the best example of this, where all of the best writing, all of the best motivations, all of the best reasons to care went to the heel, not to Seth Rollins, and that's a problem. And I think it's going to continue to be a problem unless Triple H learns how to book baby faces. You know who knows how to book baby faces? Over on NXT, you got Shawn Michaels, who's booking excellent top-tier baby faces over there. Maybe they should just like team up and create like the best ultimate heel babyface booker that you could possibly have. Triple H is lost with creative. He keeps booking the exact same matches / storylines, and it's getting boring fast. All of the big factions are doing the same thing, and if it keeps going this way, people are gonna stop watching. I've used this term already before, but it's the double-edged sword. And in this case, it's the double-edged sword of long-term storytelling, because with long-term storytelling, you get a huge payoff at the end. But the problem with long-term storytelling inherently is that there's a lot of space in between the beginning and the end. And when there's that much space, you ultimately end up filling it with repetitive matches, repetitive segments. And that's what happened with the Judgment Day versus Sami Zayn versus Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins. It was the same thing over and over and over and over again until we eventually got to the payoff, which is presumably Survivor Series War Games. Again, we're assuming the payoff is going to be great, but yeah, there's a lot of mundane monotony that happens in between because of long-term storytelling. So we have to ask ourselves the question, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the end game, is the payoff actually worth it. And in most cases, it is, but it does lead to a lot of frustration as we get to the payoff. What AEW needs to do with their up and coming talent is that they need to create a farm system for them, just like how WWE does with their younger talent in NXT. I agree. This is AEW's biggest fundamental issue to their core business model, in that they don't have a way to future-proof themselves. The only way that they're able to bring in new talent is by opening up the checkbook and paying for high-priced free agents, as opposed to the WWE, which creates value at a really cheap cost by bringing in really young people and building them into megastars. AEW doesn't have the method to be able to do that yet. They need to figure out a farm system, whether it is creating an NXT or maybe striking up a deal with a smaller indie organization like a Ohio Valley Wrestling, for example, just like the WWE did in the Ruthless Aggression era. AEW desperately needs a farm system to continuously feed new roster members, new up-and-comers to the AEW locker room. The Slammy Awards should come back this year. No, they're fucking dumb. I mean, one of the Slammy Awards was, who's the most patriotic? Like, these awards mean absolutely nothing. Kofi deserves another world title, especially that the last one he won, he got squashed in a couple of seconds to lose it. Also, his only world title reign was more disappointing than anything. They can do so much more with him, and I see him being able to dethrone the world heavyweight champion. Look, I don't think that Kofi necessarily needs another world title run. I don't think that you can replicate the magic, the moment in time that was Kofi Mania. I'm okay with that being a one-off. What I'm not okay with is that this motherfucker has never gotten a rematch for the title that he was squashed for. I'd like to see Kofi Kingston get a world title match. Whether he wins it or not, that's not the problem. Just a rematch, please. The Rock isn't a top 10 wrestler of all time. His time in the company was little, and he doesn't return as often as Cena does. Okay, honestly, the Cena portion, kind of irrelevant. Like, comparing two people that are in different blocks of life is entirely unfair. But let's talk about the fact that you said that he's not a greatest of all time because of the little time he had in the company. Would it shock you to know that he spent more time in the company, in the WWE, than Stone Cold Steve Austin? Because The Rock was there from 1996 to 2003, and Stone Cold was there from 1995 also to 2003, but The Rock also came back to have a match in 2004 and to have a year-long feud in 2011 and 2012. So he's actually spent more time in the WWE than Stone Cold Steve Austin. So are you willing to take Stone Cold Steve Austin out of the top 10 purely because of the metric of how long he was in the company? I'm willing to bet that the answer is no, which tells me that this metric, this barometer for how you judge whether or not somebody is a greatest of all time, it sucks. Dakota Kai, Zelina Vega, and Shayna Baszler should be the next Miss Money in the Bank. I'm a little bit less sold on Shayna Baszler, but I'm definitely sold on Dakota Kai and Zelina Vega. The only reason I'm not sold on Shayna Baszler is I just don't think that her character kind of suits the world of the Money in the Bank as well as it would for somebody like Dakota Kai and Zelina Vega. I think a heel Zelina Vega with that briefcase would be magical, and the current iteration of Dakota Kai, who, by the way, this knee injury of hers is ensuring that she's getting better on the mic. Once she's good to go, plus the mic skills that she's developed, that she's not able to actually wrestle and the only thing she's able to do is talk, I think we're gonna get the best version of Dakota Kai when she comes back, and I think a Money in the Bank briefcase on Dakota Kai would be pretty rad. There will never be another, quote, Hard Times or, quote, Pipe Bomb or, quote, Austin 316 or any other generational promo again. Most of what fans consider generational now is shouting, swearing, bleeding for all three. Yeah, you're naming the most famous promos of all time, but you know, there was once a great philosopher from Canada that once said, never say never. And I say that because recently Santos Escobar cut the best promo of his career, and it was very slow, and it was very methodical, and it cut deep. So if somebody like Santos Escobar can still deliver an awesome promo like that, I think that there is still the possibility for somebody who is much better than Santos Escobar to deliver an all-timer promo like the ones that you listed here. So again, never say never. Voices is better than Burning in My Light. Those are the two Randy Orton theme songs. Voices is I hear voices in my head, and Burning in My Light is hey, nothing you can say, or nothing's gonna change what you've done to me. Okay, I was gonna agree with you, but as I started singing it, because I know I'm the songbird of our generation, I got a beautiful singing voice, I'm starting to sell myself on Burning in My Light. Yeah, I am yeah. I'm going with Burning in My Light. I know what you think, what you did, but I made a mistake. I know that your fear is so clear because I see the look on your face. Mark Henry had a top 5 character development change with his Hall of Pain character. Thank you for acknowledging how good Hall of Pain Mark Henry was. My God, that was one of my favorite runs for an individual in WWE history. It needs to get more love, and I think that it should be a blueprint as to how you need to book monsters moving forward. Hall of Pain Mark Henry is so good, and we need to find a way to replicate it with these giants like the Omoses of the world, Braun Strowmans, etc. Cedric Alexander should get a shot at the US Championship. I think him and Logan could put on a banger. So should Dragon Lee. Sure, I'd love to see a world where Logan is able to have these banger matches with these guys that don't have the giant appeal like somebody like a Rey Mysterio or somebody like an LA Knight. I think it'd be cool to get like a 1 month stretch where Logan Paul is on SmackDown every week defending the shit out of that US Championship. And I would love for these guys that you mentioned to get an opportunity, even if it's just to help elevate Logan Paul and help justify how good he actually is in the ring. Because Cedric Alexander, not that Logan Paul necessarily needs quote carrying, but Cedric Alexander could carry Logan Paul to an all-timer of a match. WWE needs a trios title. Look, I've been fighting against trios titles in the WWE for such a long time, but if bringing trios titles means finally giving those trios titles to those guys in the main event that just keep fighting over the tag team championships, if it means taking the tag titles off of them and finally putting them in the tag team division, sure, I don't give a fuck. Give them trios titles. Let Judgment Day fight for trios titles. Let Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and Cody Rhodes fight for trios titles. Just give us back the tag titles to the tag team division. The pandemic era saved WWE. The crowds had gotten dull in 2017 and 2019. No, I don't think that the pandemic era saved the WWE. It almost fucking collapsed the WWE. Just the WWE is full of great business people that knew how to handle that situation. And I wouldn't say that it was the pandemic era that demonstrated how dull the crowd was from 2017 to 2019. If anything, it just showed how shitty WWE was between 2017 and 2019, because they didn't really give the crowd enough to be excited about, because that was one of the worst eras of the WWE. Do you remember the big dog Roman Reigns being fed dog food? Do you remember Baron Corbin having a match with Kurt Angle, that feud? Like, look, it was just a terrible time to be a WWE fan. They had nothing to cheer for. LA Knight versus Logan Paul for the US title should headline night 1 of WrestleMania, if the buildup and the mainstream media coverage is as big as we all think it will be. I do think that it's going to be a huge build. I do think that if these guys end up having a match, it's going to go and transcend beyond just the typical world of the WWE. I think if these two have a match at WrestleMania, that it'll be the biggest match for the United States Championship of all time. And I think that it is big enough to main event night 1 of WrestleMania. Look at that. I just agreed with everything you just said. I've been saying this. Actually, I've been screaming this from the mountaintops, that Logan Paul should absolutely be having a match with LA Knight at WrestleMania. And I've been calling this for the past like 6 months. I think that this is the play. I think this is the play for Logan Paul. And I think that in terms of like giving him a really fun adversary, and it's the play for LA Knight, somebody who unfortunately is the right guy at the wrong time. We want to see him succeed, but we know it's not the right time to dethrone somebody like Roman Reigns. It was never going to be him at this moment in Roman Reigns' reign. Ooh, that's a weird thing to say, but this is the right place, the right time for somebody as over as LA Knight. This would be huge for him. Zoe Stark doesn't deserve a championship. She should be in NXT putting other superstars over. Dude, she's like 29. Why does she need to go to NXT to put people over? We need to build her. We need to build her. She needs to win. She needs to be put over. As great as it is for the business and for the fans worldwide, WWE booking as many PLEs as they have outside of North America is getting a bit overdone. Andrew, with all due respect, this is so fucking dumb, because I can just say, you know what's getting overdone? Monday Night Raws in Alabama. You know what's getting overdone? PLEs in the United States. This is just such a gatekeepery message. You literally even said, I know it's great for business. I know that it's great for fans worldwide. So why is this getting over? Like, what is overdone? Going there outside of the boundaries of the United States 6 times a year? Is that overdone? How about the the other 700 different shows that they do in the United States for that 1 year. Is that overdone? This is stupid. Absolutely ridiculous. As much as I hate to say it, I can see Theory being released in the next few years and ending up thriving elsewhere. Look, man, I'm gonna cut deep with this one. If Theory does not succeed in the WWE, he ain't succeeding anywhere. He's gotten every opportunity to succeed in the WWE. He's had feuds with Stone Cold, with Edge. He's had run-ins with The Rock, feuds with John Cena. He's been given everything. He was the right-hand man of Vince McMahon for a while. Like, dude, every opportunity has been given to Austin Theory. If what you say ends up being right, if he ends up being released from the WWE, the company that's given him every single chance to succeed and failed, presumably if he was released, he ain't succeeding anywhere. All right, that's it. I'm done. Again, I promise you're not going to be getting 2 of these every week. It's just back to 1. All right, that's it. I'm done. Get out of here.